Welcome to my lair, heroes. You have done well to get this far, but this is where your goody-goody heroics come to an end. Now kneel before me as I exposit my evil plans to you. Now, we can all agree that I wouldn't make a great villain acting like that. So, today, let's explore and talk about what it takes to take your bog standard, basic bad guy and turn them into some vile, nefarious villain that your heroes just cannot wait to curb stomp into the ground. So, obviously, a very good place to start when figuring out what figuring out your villain is, what is their goal? And this can range from anything, big stuff, world domination, genocide, widespread chaos on a planetary and interplanar level, right down to the most tiny, petty, wanting to get back at an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. The goal can be anything. Whatever the reason is, it needs to be well thought out and appropriate for your game. Fit the tone, fit the style you guys are playing. It's no good having this great, super diabolical world domination massacre of a plan for your villain in a game where it's mainly been joking around, and vice versa. If it's a super serious game, you don't want your big villain's goal to be to get back at their ex. But basically, whatever it is that you're working on with the goal, it's probably going to be the main plot point. Stopping whatever their goal is going to be the main story that you're having your players explore, at least for this current arc or for this chunk of your game. So it needs to be really well thought out and put together, so it just works, basically. So you've got your goal. That's what your villain is trying to do. That's what they're going to do. Next, you need their motivation. You need why they're going to do it. One fantastic bit of advice I can give, especially when it comes to writing any character, really, but it works really, really well when trying to piece together villains. Everybody is the hero of their own story. See, now what this means is no matter what the character is doing, no matter what they're trying to achieve, whether that be stopping the evil wizard or turning themselves into a lich and becoming a master of the undead, or massacring an entire species of people, in their mind, they are the hero. They are doing the right thing. It's a bit weird to think about, especially when you're writing a totally evil character. And that's fine, you can write a villain who is just mean and evil and nasty because he's evil and a villain, and that's cool. That's, if anything, that's kind of amusing in some cases. But we as an audience, we love it when we can identify with a villain, or to go even further, when we can understand them, or even more like agree and see their point of view. So when you're doing this, when you're putting together a villain's motivation, it needs to follow a logic. Like, okay, say it's going for world domination. I want to rule the world. Well, why? Why should I be trying to rule the world? Because the world isn't good. The world isn't a good place for good people. And so I, as the villain in your eyes, I'm going to dominate my way through society and through politics and take control to make the world better. And see now, just depending on how I'm going about it, I can either be a hero or a villain, depending on who is looking at what I'm doing and how I'm going about it as perceived in the eyes and minds of your players and heroes. So, what I really love doing, because it's an instant way of getting at least one of your players invested. I love making my villains a mirror to my heroes. And so by doing that, it's kind of a what if, make it just similar enough. So if I've got a player who's playing, some heroic knight of the kingdom and for honor for king and country and yada yada, well then I make the villain somebody who either did all of that and got betrayed and now is getting revenge for being so poorly treated, or maybe I make it someone who wanted to do all of that and could never get up to it all. He never had the means to achieve such a high level and is really bitter and jaded by the whole thing. Or can go even further, make it a total opposite, someone who holds no respect for honor. And he would stab his own grandmother in the back if it meant he could get further ahead, because the end goal is more important than how you get there. And instantly, in doing any of this, my knight player who's super honorable, all of these different versions which are either a total opposite to him or just close enough that it could be offensive, or just taking an ideal he holds so dearly and twisting it. That's going to make your player very heavily invested in either proving this guy wrong or stopping this guy, or depending on how well you roleplay out and how much intricacy you put in and how convincing of a storytelling, you might even show that player and that character some of the things that they love and hold dear maybe aren't quite as perfect as they seem. And then you're building layers upon layers of different ways for your players to interact with the world. It just adds so much to a game. Now, I'm not saying go out of your way to hurt player characters, but if you can make them question things because of the actions of a villain, then your villain is written well. Another fantastic example, also very easy to use. Say you've got a rogue who's a bit of a Robin Hood type. I steal to help people. The rich people have got it too good. I'm going to help the poor. Well, make a thief who only steals for himself. He goes and attacks the same people, is firmly of the same belief that they don't need all that money. But then instead of using it to help somebody, he helps himself. Even make him steal from the poor, because Well, they don't need that money, and I do. Your rogue is instantly going to be like, whoa, hey now, not cool, and want to put a stop to it. You could also even go a bit further if he's a bit of an anti-hero. So he steals from the rich to help poor people, but he goes one step too far. He attacks the rich people and he murders them. So then your rogue character can agree with what he's doing, but maybe not to the extent or how he's going about it. Then that gives you some wiggle room for trying to coerce your rogue to push a bit further, or it gives your rogue a long-term goal to try and convince this guy that he's in the wrong. There's lots of great things you can explore if you mess around with it just enough. The next key part in figuring out a villain's motivation is their history, their backstory, why they are the way they are. So, once again, just using like the bog standard Black Knight. Ooh, he's a big evil knighty bloke. Alright, yeah. But why is he a big evil knighty bloke? Has he always been evil and just has a very warped view on what is lawful and honourable? Is that how he knows that he's superior, by winning only in honourable duels? Or is he a former good knight who has been betrayed by his kingdom and is now out for revenge? Maybe, he's only evil because the supposedly good king or mayor or whoever's in charge has said that they're evil. They went too far in that last crusade they went on. Or he knows something and was banished from the kingdom for knowing it. And then you can play around with, is your villain even the villain at all? So, continuing on using this Black Knight example, is he even the big bad guy? Is he just the face of the villainous group? A perfect example in pop culture would be someone like Darth Vader. In New Hope, Darth Vader walks out and, wow, yeah, he's the big bad guy. And then we learn in the next movie, he's being told what to do. Someone else is behind the scenes pointing him around, telling him, no, you go and attack that guy and you do this because it's all part of my plan. So whilst the Black Knight might agree and be a part of all of these villainous things that are going on, they might not be the one putting it all together. That's someone behind the scenes. Or go even further, is he only evil because of propaganda of sorts? The good and honourable king or the mayor or the council, they have said that he's evil purely by reputation. Whereas in reality, he's only evil because he has a different opinion or a different way of doing things. Evil isn't a black and white concept. Much like I was just saying earlier with everyone being the hero. Well, then everyone who opposes you is the villain. So you can play around with loads of things, and then you can lead up to a big moralistic choice for your players to decide whether the Black Knight is evil and in the wrong, or is the king and the council in the wrong. And then it's all just a matter of perspective, so you can get your players to choose who to side with, and depending on what they do, that can take them down one story path or another story path, and next thing they know, they too are enemies of the king and crown, or they can be mascots of the king, acting as his agents to quash out all evildoers. It gives you a lot to explore with because, we all love a good twist in a story. And what's a better twist than the villain has been right in front of you all along? The villain has been that guy who's been really friendly to you and helped you out, but in reality he's been pulling strings behind the scenes to just lead everyone so he can get away with his nefarious plan. I mean, unfortunately, there are so many different ways that a villain can be written, and so many different variations you can explore and twist and turn and do everything. But if I were to sit here and just rattle them off, however I can think of them, I could be here for literally days. I mean, perhaps in the future I'll do something exploring this concept a little bit more, like a top 10 potential villain ideas, or anything like that, just like character breakdowns, ways to use certain class types, or even certain monsters as the big villain you want to play around with. Whatever I can think of and whatever you guys like the sound of. And you know how you can tell me if you like the sound of them? Right down there, comment section. Go wild. Tell me your favorite villains you've made, or if you could do a kind of villain. It's all really cool stuff, and it is a huge thing to explore. Yeah. So if you like this little thing I'm doing here, you just smash that like button, comment, share it, subscribe. If you really like it and you want to see me do more of this stuff, you can go right ahead and pop on over to my Patreon. Yeah, but no, fine. Also, if you want to watch me as I Dungeon Master, you can find me over on Welcome Party RPG on Twitch. I stream there on Sunday nights at 10 p.m. British Summer Time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll see how I fiddle around and do things there. All their information will be down in the description. Anything else I need to say? No, that is everything I had to say for today. Hope you've liked this. Hope it's sparked some creative ideas. It might not be like brand new original ideas, but it might just be a different way to look at things. So thank you very much for tuning in and watching us right to the end. I am the Bardic Knock, and I'm wishing you all good health and very happy adventuring.